the defendant. Compared to musicians, Unitarian Universalist subgroups are pretty thin-skinned. You don't often hear UU Christians yucking it up with Christian humanists, or mystical humanists sharing a laugh with the secular humanists. But there are plenty of jokes about Unitarian Universalists. For instance, what do you get when you cross a UU with a Pentecostal? Answer? Someone who gets up during the service on Sunday morning and waves his hand in the air and shouts, "Thank you, Darwin!" And the other popular question, how many UUs does it take to screw in a light bulb? Answer? Anyone know? 300. 12 to sit on the board, which appoints the nominating and personnel committee. 5 to sit on the nominating and personnel committee, which appoints a house committee. 8 to sit on the house committee, which appoints the light bulb changing committee. 4 to sit on the light bulb changing committee, which chooses who will screw in the light bulb. Those 4 then give their own opinion of screwing in methods, while the one actually does the installation. After completion, it takes 100 individuals to complain about the method of installation, another 177 to debate the ecological impact of using a light bulb at all, and at least 1 to insist that back in her day, the lit chalice was quite enough. Thank you. Why don't we tease each other more? Perhaps we need some behavioral boundaries like the musicians have. Boundaries that limit the hurt that we can do to each other and to the community. As soon as an individual masters an instrument well enough to play with other individuals, they learn certain rules on how to behave in an ensemble. The orchestral code of etiquette has 5 simple points. First is practice your part, so you can come to the rehearsal prepared to contribute. 2, keep your instrument in good repair. 3, when the conductor stops conducting, stop playing. 4, study the entire piece of music, not just your part, so you'll know where you will fit in. And 5, listen to the other instruments. How would this behavioral code contrast to a Unitarian Universalist congregation understanding of acceptable behavioral standards? How about substituting the first one, practice your part so that you come to the rehearsal prepared to contribute, for something that says, show up and share what you're thinking? How about instead of keep your instrument in good repair, we say, keep your tolerance in good repair. When the conductor stops conducting, stop playing, could be understood as show respect for and cooperation with your leaders. Look at the whole so you can discern your part in it, might substitute for the 4th point. And finally, listen to the other instruments needs no translation. You are the other instruments in the symphony of Unitarian Universalism. We need to listen, and to listen carefully to each other so that we can adjust our own method of playing to achieve harmony that transcends the individual. Now, so far we've talked about the various types of instruments that make up the symphony orchestra and the various types of belief systems that make up most of our Unitarian Universalist congregations. And we've seen how these diverse instruments and beliefs behave in order to create and sustain harmony. But what is the conductor, minister's role in this? Both share some common characteristics. Both are interpreters of an idea, one articulated through music and one articulated through words. Both conductor and minister study and prepare for many years before being entrusted with their respective group of players. Both conductor and minister form networks of colleagues with whom they consult, and both are familiar with the intricate intricacies of the parts while crafting an articulation of the whole. But there are significant differences between the two roles. The conductor is the final word on the interpretation of a piece of music, and the musicians agree to submit to that decision. Orchestral conductors are hired by other bodies, not the musicians, and can be notorious bullies. Unitarian Universalist ministers are freely chosen by the ministers the congregations that they serve. And that minister is bound by congregational polity to share the ministry of free religion. This term, shared ministry, lives out the UU affirmation of the inherent worth and dignity of each person. It invites minister, members, and friends to join together in a spirit of mutuality as partners, cooperatively working to discover, develop, utilize, and support the gifts of each person. A conductor interprets the music and communicates that to the musicians. The Unitarian Universalist minister suggests many different interpretations of an idea and invites the gathered community to consider the worth of each. Just as there are no solos in a classical symphonic form, there are no real solos in shared ministry. Even when an instrument soars above the others for just a moment, it is supported by the entire orchestra. Motifs are stated by the strings and restated by the woodwinds in perhaps a different key. Then it's turned around and restated by the brass in perhaps a different rhythmic pattern. Each time it sounds different. Yet it's the same motif. And so it is in shared ministry. There are times when the motif is played by the membership committee, then tossed off to the social justice folks, who then put it in their key and pass it along to finance, who send it along to lifespan education. It's the same motif, but it plays out differently depending on the group who's got hold of it. As the motif is supported by the entire orchestra, this sharing is undergirded by the entire congregation. We still have to hear from the composers, the visionaries and the creators of the words and sounds that move us to consider that which is other than who we currently are and what we currently know. Both the composers of music and the composers of liberal religion built on what went before. Schoenberg built on Mahler, who built on Beethoven, who built on Mozart, who built on Bach. Our Unitarian Universalist heritage, lineage, is no less impressive. And the early composers of free religion, Servetus, David, Indrata, Foz, Priestley, Channing, Fuller, Emerson, Parker, all of these voices continue to be heard. The early melodies of music and free religion were beautiful and powerful in expressing a single idea. But ideas in music grew more complex and developed an underlying harmonic structure. This harmonic structure influences the feel of music. Sometimes simply altering one note will alter the mood from happy to sad. Congregational life bears this out. How often has one person or one small group influenced the mood of the entire congregation? Composers adjust the harmonic structure to serve the whole of their vision. We can do the same. We can listen to each other and make adjustments so that our free religion is as fully developed and fully realized as possible. Why do we listen to music? Why do we gather in religious community? For both, it is to experience the transcendent. To experience the transcendent, to take us out of ourselves for a span of time, to let ourselves be touched by the soaring melody, the richness of the harmony, and the rhythm pulling us ever forward. To let us revel in the wordless expression expression of the inherent worth and dignity of diverse individuals freely gathered to bring our own distinctive music to an audience yearning to hear and bear witness to the possibility of a world in harmony. This sharing and blending of our diverse competencies results in service to a common goal: to realize the vision of a free religion grounded in equal parts of love and reason that recognizes the inherent worth and dignity of the individual and works toward a world that is just, equitable, and peaceful. Our ministry together best serves this vision when each of us understand our ever-shifting roles, is willing to keep listening to each other, and to practice, practice, practice. May it be so. Amen. The final hymn isn't actually a hymn at all. It is composed, brought to us. This video has been crafted by a 5th grade teacher. I thought that was about right for us, all of us, even a GA. So let's hear it through once, and then we're going to choose our parts. Are you ready to try this?
Please don't judge me.
Let's do this again. Let's stand up. Let's do this again. Remember, you've got the horn, you've got the violins, you've got the clarinet, trumpets, percussion, horns. Here's the violins. Violins ringing like lovely singing, the violins ringing like lovely song. Clarinets, now and the violins too. The clarinet plays doodle 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 net. The clarinet plays doodle 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 net. Violins add in.
tones and always the same tones. 5, 1, 1, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 1.
Everyone. Super.